Hello, everyone. Welcome to an introductory webinar from UX Academy. Hopefully you can all hear me and see me, and you can see my slides. Karina, if you could confirm from your end, everyone is up and running. Unfortunately, I only have one screen with me, so I've got my laptop, which is sharing everything. So yeah, Karina's confirmed, so thank you for Karina for confirming. And yeah, welcome to the webinar. So before I bring on Natalia, which is the reason you're all here today to learn more about UX design, I wanted to give you a little brief introduction into UX Academy. Like everyone else, we started off as a classroom course running in central London for a number of years. And over the last couple of years, like everybody else, we've also switched from classroom to Zoom. And delivering the classes live with a live teacher, and that's Stratis on the top left, with small groups. So here you'll see there's 6, 8, just counting, no, 10 people, 10 students, and 1 teacher. And this is our kind of current format that we've been doing now for over nearly 2 years, over 18 months, 2 years. So we're very comfortable with it, and we've delivered some great classes. So just to give you a little bit overview of why UX Academy and what makes us who we are. All our courses are live. Nothing is pre-recorded. You speak with real teachers. You have real mentorship with professional UXers. You'll obviously get a course certificate as well. Our teachers are very, very experienced, over 7 to 10 years of UX design industry experience. And Natalia, who is currently at KPMG, you'll get to hear from her as well about some of her knowledge and experience. And one of the great values that we offer is that you work on real company projects. So we identify companies that have projects which are worthwhile in terms of you getting a learning experience, but also working on a real project where they have a real problem to solve, which you will apply your UX knowledge that you learn in the lesson. So yeah, just a few companies or students from companies that have attended. So you see a whole range of companies. Actually, we recently taught a whole team at Google, which I need to update with their logo, because that's obviously great. If you're teaching Google, then you're clearly doing the right stuff. But yeah, a whole bunch of organizations here that we've taught, and lots of large tech organizations to smaller startups as well. In terms of tools we use, we've talked about Zoom. We use Slack. So when you're working on real company projects, you're working in groups, like in a real life scenario. And you will be communicating together in a team on Slack. We'll be sharing all the materials on Google Drive. You'll be using Figma and InVision, very popular industry standard tools for prototyping, wireframing, and Miro as well. And all these tools are accessible from a PC or a Mac. They're all online. We will give you access, and you will have your setup account, and you don't need to pay anything extra. And all the access will be available, and you can use a standard laptop as well. So you don't necessarily need a Mac or anything like that. I mentioned mentorship. I think it's very, very important, and it's a very unique point about UX Academy is every week you will have a 30-minute team mentorship with a UX with an industry expert. You can address any questions, any blockers you're having with the project. You can also follow up on any questions you've had outside the course that haven't been answered because you've run out of time. You can also speak to this individual around career advice and support, because obviously they're working in the UX industry and they can give you some real advice and real understanding of what it is to be working within UX specifically. Just want to highlight, we have a lot of testimonials. We have a testimonial page, so feel free to visit UX Academy, myuxacademy.com/testimonials, and you can read a whole bunch of different testimonials just to give you an idea of how people experience the course. And I want to mention our 2 trainers that will be teaching the beginner course, which will be starting next year. So Natalia and Stratis. Natalia will do a little introduction on herself, and obviously I'm not going to read all this information, but you can kind of briefly read it now. Both Natalia and Stratis are very, very experienced. They are very senior teachers at UX Academy. Always get amazing feedback from both of them. Obviously, you'll meet one of the teachers now. And we'll skip on to that. Sorry, this design, this came from Google Slides and came over into PPT and didn't come out very well. It's a real example of a project for Mr. and Mrs. Smith, where they wanted to improve the booking experience. So there was obviously a hypothesis, some deliverables, and the students worked in a team to deliver that project together. And yeah, we have a special workshop offer for you. So we're willing to offer you 10% off the course price. So it's normally 1,050. We will be offering you 10%, and there's a special code called Workshop 10, which you can use. And this code will be valid for the next 14 days. And you only need to pay a £199 deposit to secure your place. So we don't expect full payment from you at this moment in time. More than happy for you to pay it when you start the course. Once you're in and you've had your first lesson, that's no issue. But to secure your place, obviously it's a very small group. We have very limited places. You would need to pay a deposit. If you're based in the UK, we have a partner called Noma, and they offer payment plans from £87.50 per month, which is amazing. Unfortunately, it's only for the UK at the moment, just because of credit licensing, etc. But you can go to myuxacademy.com/payment plans to learn more. And while this is only UK, I mean, I would say our students are from around the globe. So we've had people from the US, from Europe, a whole bunch of countries in Europe, including Germany and France, and Italy and Spain, and from people from the Middle East, and also sometimes from the Far East, but obviously the timing gets a little bit difficult, as our classes are at 6 p.m. One evening a week, UK time. And also we'll give you a guide breaking into the UX industry, which you get after the course as well. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Natalia. And I think, Karina, you can bring Natalia in as well to the room. Hi, Natalia.
Hi. Hello, Navid. How are you?
I can't see you. I'm good. I can't see you, but I can hear you. So that's good. That means it's all working. Can you see your slides?
Yeah, I see. Introduction to UX design.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna be controlling the slides, so we'll have a bit of back and forth. Apologies for that, but yeah, over to you, Natalia.
Thank you very much, and thank you to invite me today. I'm very excited to share my experience and also share about the user experience. It's my career. It's what I'm doing last 15 years, so I'm so excited. And before I will start about the UX design and what is it, I would like to introduce myself and tell to you about my journey, how I became the user experience designer. So currently I am senior digital product designer in KPMG UK and lecturer in UX Academy. And what I very like and excited because it's very interesting to work with the new people who came to our industry and who wants to know more about the user experience. And as a digital product designer, I work from two sides. So I work for business and for users. So in product design, in digital product design, we try to be in the middle of business goals and user needs and make the product, digital product, win-win for business and for users. And for that, we need user experience designers, and we need lots of other careers and people, and we work in the teams. And my field, it's a UX and UI, because when I start my career as a software engineer. I studied at university computer science, and I tried what can I do. I was looking what is really will be interesting for me. So when I went in university, for me was interesting about how is internet technology, how to make a website, and I wanted to learn more about that. So I learned about software, and I tried to program. So I started to work with backend first, and I understood that actually I want to have more control how it's look, and I moved to the front end development. And later I understood that actually I want to have a control, actually, how does it work and look, and I become a UX designer. And that's my story. So from the scratch, I'm not a UX designer, and lots of my colleagues, they become a UX designer, and they move and switch their career, and they came to UX design from the other careers. And it's a very common. So if you are thinking now, if you are working in other field and you think UX design can be something what you want, that's totally fine, because even it can be your benefit, because if you have experience, let's imagine in banking, and you work in fintech, and you know all about the fintech, and you decided you want to work in UX and you want to work more with the users, the experience what you already have will be your huge bonus. And you will have a experience how actually work the business, and also you will work close to the users. And also, what I like about my job and about user experience, it's that I have an opportunity to work for different countries, and I have a lot of opportunity to work for different continents even, and learn about the people, how they think, how they use devices, how they interact between each other, what kind of problems they have. And in 2013, I have an opportunity to work on digital transformation in South America. What was the amazing experience, where I moved and learned about the people, how they live, how they interact, how they work. It was digital transformation for banking. So how work fintech, how is their relationship and trust with the banking, and if they can pay things with the mobile application, if they trust and go to the cashless society. So it was a very, very interesting experience, where I learned a lot about the people and their experience, and provide them the best experience. And in 2018, I moved to London, and now I'm in London, and I have here a very interesting experience, because people from different country, different cities, different cultures think different, work different. So you have lots of things around the UX experience, and you are never boring about the user experience and what you need to design as a UX designer. So our session today, it's about UX design, and I would like to give you some introduction. So if we can move to the next slide, please. So the definition of one of the definition of user experience is the outcome of user interaction with an artifact. And I have an illustration what I think represent very well actually what does it mean. And it's artifacts, yeah, right? And artifacts, I mean here, it can be a mobile application, it can be website, web platform, any digital product or service. And the user, it's the people who use and interact with that. It can be you, me, and millions of people. And that's what happening between end user and the digital product. That's the interaction, and user experience work on that to make this interaction as much as possible simple, as much as possible useful, and make it life easier, right, for the users. And I have a couple of examples for you, what user experience mean and in what fields we work. So one of the example, it's application, and in this case, it's application for car owners, right? So car owner can see information, how is the car, what is the temperature, what is their settings, and how is good or bad and need to improve something. And we work on that kind of thing. So like a UX designers, we are building this experience for the car owners, right? So we give them the best experience, how they can enjoy and interact and have the best with the car. And probably you know that now you can unlock your car with the cell phone. So all that, it's experience. Sometimes even it's a seamless experience, but it's a still user experience and how you interact. The another example, it can be virtual reality, and it's also we speak about user experience. It's another field where we need an experts. So probably you have seen the presentation of Meta, and where Mark Zuckerberg mentioned it about the virtual reality and what they are planning to build in the next couple of years. And it's all around virtual reality and how we will change and transform our life with the virtual reality. It's the other field of user experience, and very, very excited. Also, I have another example. It's augmented reality, right? And I think when start augmented reality, yeah, it was more like a game, right? And it was more fun. And with time, with technology, we implement that, and it's something very, very useful, and how really it can improve life of people. And to be honest, I can't imagine my life without Google Maps live, because London is a very huge city and you really can lose yourself very easy. And that's what makes my life easier every day. And I really use this application. And it's a fantastic opportunity to mix of technology and implement how this technology can work and solve the problem of the users. And for that kind of project, you need the user experience, right? How people will interact, how people will work with that. That's another very, very good example. It's transform our life, right? And almost 2 years, we have another condition, how we work, how we go to the gym and do a lot of exercise at home, right? So it's another good example how we add technology to the things what we had, right? And a couple of years ago, you have just a bike, what you can ride as an exercise. Now we implement the technology, and we need also experience, right? It's how user experience with the technology, and with the this case, it's a dashboard when you see your parameters, your settings, how you can improve what you have to do. So it's again experience, other kind of experience, but it's a still experience what we design as a digital designers. And I would like to speak about how UX designers work. And I think that's quite interesting, right? How actually, what does it mean and what we do? So there are lots of different approaches. There are methods, and in UX Academy, we learn, and of course we give classes, and we give you we will explain different methods and how they work, and what the most common around the globe, what you can use. But if we go and look at simple process, UX designers do research, ideation, and testing. So if we speak about the research, it's about empathy. Yeah, it's how people you have to, as a UX researcher, empathize and understand the people. You do research and understand what is the pain point of people and what problem is people. And of course, it's always contact with the business. Yeah, and as I mentioned, as a product designer, I know what actually business wants, because business is always about money, right? What they want to implement, what is the feature they want to implement, or what they need. But I always go to the users and ask user and try to uncover the pain point, what is the real problem of the user today, what they need, and what we have to build or improve. The second stage, it's not second, but one of the stage, right, after we uncover the problem, we are going to ideation. And when you are clear what you are building, what you are trying to solve, or what kind of application or website or any digital product, you ideate with the team, because usually we work in the teams. Yeah, and we have developers, we have a group of designers, we have a product owner, we have a managers. We all work together, and we have ideation. Ideation is a very interesting stage. There are special techniques, workshops, how to ideate, uncover your creativity. We also will speak about that in our course, how to make it. And ideation is when you take a paper and pencil, or you go to whiteboard, you start to sketch, you start to ideate, you start to think what can be better, what can you design, how it will work. It's all about that. And of course, as soon as ready that stage, you are going to test. Yeah, and test, it's when you go to the real user, you show what you ideate, you show what do you think should be and how solve their problem, and you see the feedback. And as a UX designer, we always work in the circle. So we ideate, we test, we ideate, we test until we find the really right solution. And it's totally normal when you have an idea, you test this idea with real users and it doesn't work. It's happened because you are not a user. So you cannot be 100% sure that what you design will really work for people. And that's what we are doing as a UX designer while we are testing. And testing is also a very interesting topic because in our course, we will make a prototype, we will test it with the user, because in when you are creating the product, digital product, you have a stages, and first it's you do a research, you ideate, you design something, and you implement that. And implement, I speak about programming, development, it's one of the most expensive stage of the project. So we have to be sure that what we are implementing, what we are doing, we test well before we start to implement that, and be sure that we will provide the best experience for user and we did the right job. And I would like to tell you also about your journey with UX Academy, and also what you will learn and how it will work if you will join us. So our course, it's 8 weeks, and in 8, can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. And in 8 weeks, we will learn all the process. And why I would say that UX Academy is nice, because as a UX designer and the person who always want to be better, I took different courses. And what's nice in UX Academy, that that course has real client, and you will really work with the end users, you will work really with the business, with the client, and you will understand what is the problem and what business needs, and how you will solve it. So because it's a real product and real project, you will do all the process from the research until end, when you are ready and you can say, yeah, you can implement that. So when you have 8 weeks, we will start, of course, with introduction, and we will move step by step, and we will, as a trainees and your lecturers, support you in all journey. And as you see in the description, so in week 1 it will be introduction, and week 2 we will learn about research methods, how to write the research right, what kind of research exists, what method you have to take in what period of time, and you will practice that and you will know. In week 3, it's ideation and facilitation workshop, because workshops, it's something very important, what we do very often to ideate, create, and uncover our creativity. In week 4, it's a mapping and warframing. Warframing is what you can start already draw with paper and pencil, and go to the digital warframes. We will use the tool as a Figma. That's a very nice tool. It's free, and it's working for Apple device and Windows device. So if you have Macintosh or Windows, that will work. That's why it's good. Also, it's a nice tool for collaboration, because one of the important skill for UX designer is work in the team. And in this course, you have an opportunity, because you will work on your project with a small group of students. So you will have a life experience, how to work and collaborate with other people when you're working in the same project, and give each other feedback and listen feedback to yourself. In week 5, we are going to learn how to prototype, and it's also work with the Figma. It's fantastic because you can fake it, so your product will look like a really final product, and you can go and test it, right? And you don't need to build it and don't spend months before to go to live, and you can do it just with the prototype. So week 6, it will be about user testing. When you will go and test, we will of course show to you how to do it, what kind of questions, how to prepare, how invite people, how many tests to do, how to iterate. So of course we will give you all this information, and you will try to test, so you will be close as much as possible to the real project. And in week 7, you will do design in iteration to understand if you are in right direction or you need to change. Maybe you need to back in previous step if you did something wrong in your research or ideation. So you analyze your data. And of course, in week 8, you will already work on your final presentation. And in the end of our course, you will have one full project for your portfolio. And it will be real project with the real clients, what is very, very value on the market, because I work for a company, it's Big Four, and one of my role is hire new people, and I know how it's important and what mean portfolio and how we look and what is criteria for portfolio. So we will help in this course also to prepare the right and how to structure your project and prepare this for your portfolio and share this with the HR in the future when you will apply for your first job as a UX designer. And in the next slide, you will see the structure of the week. So that's also what I think big benefits of UX Academy, because you have a class where we will share with you with theory. We will give you best practice examples. How does it work? Some examples from my experience, some worldwide examples. Also, we have a fun work. So of course you will need do a homework, and you will have quite a lot of homework, but it's the best way to learn, especially when you work in IT technology. When you do something by yourself, you learn much faster than if you just read about something or someone tell to you. And mentorship, it's something what very, very helpful, and you will have mentor every week. So you will have opportunity to speak with a mentor as a team, and you will have questions for sure. It's a very normal. So you will have a support. You will never be alone. And we have, of course, 2 lecturers and 1 mentor. So you will have a different, you will have an experience to speak with the different professionals, experts, so have a different opinions, what is also very useful. And you will have a big picture, how do different designers in a different situation, in what methods they use, and how one or another designer will do. And I think that's all from my side. Oh, yeah, role in UX design. That's something very, very nice, and what I would like to share with you. So to give you better understanding what is user experience design, because it's quite broad and field, and you can find lots of small fields in that. And as you see on this diagram, you see lots of different careers and titles. And it's why I like actually design, because you can try different fields. And if you think now UX designer, it's what you want to do, but with the time you will feel you want to go to the user research and be expert just in user research, it's totally fine. And you don't need to know all you want to be, and you're happy there. Or maybe you will be happy more in interaction design or in user interface design. That's amazing, because you can go, and your knowledge from UX will help you in user interface design, in visual design, interaction design. So if you see on the top, you have a product design. It's my role, and I have a mix of knowledge. I have UX design knowledge and UI design knowledge. So I work from end-to-end process. And in KPMG UK, where I currently work, I work whole process from the start when we define the problem and we do research until very end when we deliver the project. So I start with the research and empathize with the user and understand their problem and understand what we have to solve and what is the pain point of our customer or user, go to ideation, go to testing, implement, work close to developers, help them to implement and get the best experience to the user, test it again, and go live to the real product. That's, I think, the last slide. Yeah. Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Thank you to join me, and see you in the end of the session. And happy to answer all your questions.
Great. Thank you. Am I back in, Natalia? Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure.
Great. So we're here. I'm just going to present the last slide. So yeah, just a few more things. So if you have any questions, Natalia and I are both here to answer any questions you have. So please do ask your questions. Karina will be funneling those questions through to us to answer. And I think we have one or two questions so far. While you're putting your questions in and Karina's getting those ready, I just want to give you a reminder about UX Academy and about the course. So this course will be starting on the 19th of January, 2022, 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. UK time for 8 weeks. So it's a part-time 8-week course where you're with another 10 to 12 students. Everyone will be there looking to develop real portfolio experience, learn more about UX design, and having been taught by fantastic teachers such as Natalia. So very much our course is based on building a portfolio, getting real mentorship, and getting advice about your UX career from our mentors. And we've had over 100 students graduate. We've been around for over 4 years. And I just want to remind you as well on our special workshop offer. So Karina, do we have, I think we had one or two questions. Do you want to pass those on? Natalia, do you see those questions?
Yeah, does business analyst play any part of the role of UX design? Yeah, it's a very good question. So yeah, we have a business analyst in the team currently. So business analysts help us a lot. So we work in the collaboration. We don't cover the job of each other, but we work very close and in collaboration with business analysts.
Great, thank you, Natalia. Do we have any other questions, Karina?
Sorry, was that Monday to Friday, 6 to
Oh yeah,
8:30?
I've got it on I've got the questions on my phone too. Yes, the exact date, and actually it's a good question. Karina, maybe you can confirm which day it is during the week. It's so our courses are usually either Mondays, Tuesdays, or Wednesdays every week, once a week. So it would be every Monday, for example, for 8 weeks, only on a Monday, or it'll be every Tuesday for 8 weeks, or every Wednesday. In this case, the beginner course is every Wednesday for 8 weeks. Hopefully that's clear. So yeah, we've had a question around can you become a UX designer without a university degree? Maybe both Natalia and I can also answer that, but as far as I'm aware and my experience of working with UX designers, it's not an essential requisite, no. What people are looking for and what hiring managers are looking for, are they looking for your experience, your real portfolio experience of what have you done, and are you really a good UX designer? That's what they care about. They don't care that you have a bachelor's or a master's or a PhD. Natalia, maybe you have you want to chime in here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And as my experience, I have to say that I started 15 years ago. Even I didn't have an opportunity to get a university degree because university didn't have in that field in that time. So that's totally fine. Of course, HR can ask what degree you have. They have in any field. So that's totally fine question, but it's not required university degree for UX designers. Also, you can have maybe some degree in some, I don't know, programming, or you can have a degree in even how work our brain. It's very important for UX actually. So it's very interesting topic, and really your knowledge from the other field can be very, very useful in UX design. And if you will work in a digital, and you will work maybe in different fields, in different kind of project, it will be fantastic. Or how I mentioned it, if you, for example, have a background in the banking and you will work in one of the bank in your country, it will be amazing experience. And this university degree will help you because you learn something about finance. But as a UX designer, it's not required like a university degree.
So another question about where we can start as a UX designer. Do you have any suggestions, Natalia, for people at the beginning of their career?
Yeah, so I think it would be nice if you read the book Don't Make Me
Oh,
Think. It's really will change your mind, and you will understand like how it's all around us. It's a very nice book. Don't Make Me Think. Also, you can start to look some videos maybe on YouTube. Maybe you can start to read some articles about the user experience and what is it. Also, when you look next time to yourself on an application, try to look at from the other point of view, not just like a user. Actually, how does it work? How you interact? How micro animation works? So all this detail, it's actually job for UX designer. And maybe even you can try to compare application what do same functionality, but from the different companies, and you will see the difference, and you feel the what is experience is.
yeah, thank you, Natalia. Yeah, and I think just adding on to that a little bit more on the professional side, there are a lot of junior UX roles. My recommendation is if you're, if you get the right portfolio experience, it will be much easier to get a junior UX role. Maybe do some contracting at the beginning. There's a lot of startups and small companies looking for general UX support because it's quite expensive to find good people with some experience. And if you've done a little bit of real work already in a course or in a couple of courses, then suddenly you've got the right knowledge and presentation to take you to the next level. I saw a question about age, being over 35. Again, I don't think this is an issue. I've met many UX designers who are a range of different ages. Again, it's really hard to find good UX designers with good experience. So again, I'm going back to the practical level of practical experience. It's not about academic success with UX design. There's really no certified institutions or national standards or international standards with UX. It really comes down to your own work that you've done and what you can present to your potential employer. That's someone asked about the name of the book again. Natalia, can you
Don't Make Me Think. It's
don't
a
make me
Steve.
think.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Steve Crook. Steve Crook.
Steve Crook. There you
Yeah,
go.
and about the age, I would like to add. So in this field, you don't have age or gender or any discrimination. So feel free. That's totally fine. It's never late to learn. That's totally fine. In 35 is not so much. So don't be scared.
No, definitely not so much. I'm older, so. So one question here, Natalia. What's the difference between a UX designer and a UI designer?
Yeah, that's a good question. So UX design, it's how product work and how user interact with the product. And UI design, it's about how the product looks. Yeah. So you can see it like a two different fields, and it can be two even different people in a big project with the two different teams, or it can be one person if you have some knowledge and you have passion about that, and you can work UX/UI. In a small companies or startups with the low budget, it's as usual they're looking for someone who can cover both of this position, UX and UI. In a bigger company, you will have a more range and field for that. So UX designer usually work with the wireframes. So you work with more paper and pencil, you sketch it, you think how it will work, what will be user journey, how user will go from screen to screen if we speak about mobile application. And UI designer think more about visual. What colors will it is, what icons to use, what style of the font should this application have, and all about the visual part. And we always work in collaboration. So when I joined the team, and in the team there is a field of UX and field of UI, we are always work together, because with the color you can change total user experience. So we are always working together in collaboration, and one of it can be the same person who responsible how does it work and actually how does it look.
Great. Thank you, Natalia. So we have a question from Dane around whether you need to know HTML, CSS, or Java. Well, I can tell you absolutely not. This is not the requirements of a UX designer. This would be more web design. or front-end designer, or perhaps even a back-end designer with Java. So that's really not necessary. In terms of platforms, putting together a portfolio, Natalia, could you recommend which platforms that people could use?
Yeah, so if you have a portfolio and you would like to show your portfolio, you can go to behance.net. You can share there the project, and you can add there all description, what you have done, how does it work, what was the process. It's behance.net. You can go to the Dribble where it's more visual. So if you work in UI design and you have lots of interesting visual stuff, you can share in Dribble, and it can be your portfolio. Also, lots of platform offer you no code website, so like a Webflow or Wix. It's a very easy, you can use as a template, and you can put their stuff, so it's already front end back end done for you. Just you select the template for portfolio, it's already have a all layout what you need just to fill to have that as a portfolio.
Thank you. So we have a question around the certificate. So yes, you will receive a certificate at the end. Is it certified? I can't pronounce this name, but I would say that Compania. I rather didn't say it, but anyway, I've said it. So is it certified? I don't think so. So it's a certificate by UX Academy. And I think I did mention it before, and I'm happy to be very transparent and upfront here, is that there is really no international certification for UX. So any training company you go to will provide you their own certificate, but there isn't really a unified, accepted certificate. And I think, at the end, we don't focus too much on the certificate because we know that that's not going to get you the job. If you go to Natalia looking for a job, or if she's hiring, she's not going to ask which certificates they've got. She's going to want to see their portfolio and their experience and how well they are as a UX designer, and that's what's important. Okay, I think that's all the questions. A good portfolio. I think we've covered that as well in terms of good portfolio. So thanks for sharing that. Oh, Karina says there's more questions. Okay, Karina, let's do one or two more questions. So questions around salary. It's a little bit difficult to kind of say. I would rather not speculate because there's such a big range. I mean, I've seen salaries quite low for a beginner, and then I've seen junior UX designers paid very, very well. Natalia, any feedback from your side?
Yeah, that's true. It's depend from the experience, from portfolio, and the size of the company and how much they are ready to pay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I of course understand that we are working for life, but when I started as a junior designer, I was happy for even free. For me, it was important to get the experience because I understood how it's important, because your experience is very important, because as a junior, you need to learn. Yeah, so that's important. I think it's you will find the information maybe in LinkedIn if you will start to search. Depend what company you are looking, and UK, because UK is quite big. So if we speak about London, it will be one kind. If we speak in Manchester or smaller cities, it will be different range of the salary. So that information is really open. So just try to search a little bit about the city in UK and the size of the company.
Yeah, and I think one of the things I've seen is beginner salaries for a junior role in any position are always low. But what I have noticed with UX design is once you have a few years of experience, and really just a few means 3, you really can increase your salary quite significantly if you've had some good experience and you've had a lot and you've learned a lot, because the demand for good UX designers is really there, and it's tough to find. So I think that's the important thing. We do have many more questions, but I think we've run out of time. So I want to thank everyone for attending this session. remind them about the workshop offer. Thank you, Natalia, for also presenting and giving your insights in UX design. And I hope everyone found that very useful. And thank you, Karina, for managing and fielding the questions and putting us in and making sure it all works well. So yes, thank you, everyone, and hope you have a good night or good day, depending on where you are. And we look forward to meeting you at UX Academy.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.